We're here with the Black Hebrew Israelites. They're here celebrating my birthday very strongly. Look at that.
We're not dealing with Trump.
Ah, that's okay. Well, I'll come to him.
No. You
All right.
can't get the mic.
That's okay. That's okay. Peace. We need the peace. Very fine people on both sides. Both sides.
You look very badly.
Look.
You look very badly.
I want to thank the Hebrew Israelites for coming here to celebrate my birthday today very strongly. They're all here celebrating my birthday. That's how I know all about the Hebrew Israelites. Nobody knows the Hebrew Israelites like Donald Trump. Believe me, I watch you guys on YouTube. It's incredible, right? But I want to thank you for celebrating my birthday. I got the Hebrew Israelites on my side. That's right. Come here. That's okay. We don't need to shake hands. My nationality is Donald J. Trump. That's my nationality. That's the only nationality that I have.
Donald J. Trump is an Edomite.
Ooh.
Thus saith the Holy Bible.
Uh-oh. Well, if I was a slave, I'd be the best slave ever. I would be an incredible slave. All the other slaves would be jealous of how great I am at slaving. Believe me.
Would be sold for much in the kingdom of heaven.
Ooh.
He's a very wanted Edomite slave.
Well, we'll have to see. I've been through a lot. I've survived a lot. Just like you guys, the black people. I've been through a lot.
It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 14, and verse 2.
Right now.
And the people shall take them, and
That's
bring
right.
them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them.
Shall possess. What does that mean, possess? Possess means to own. Ownership over these people. Go ahead.
Shall possess them in the land of the Lord,
Right.
for servants. For
what?
I have great relationship with Bibi in terms of Netanyahu, right?
Go ahead.
There we go.
And handmaids, and they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors.
They shall what?
Unbelievable.
Rule over their oppressors.
So that's in the kingdom of heaven. That's in the kingdom of heaven.
Well, I'm for it. Everybody,
Over or oppressed.
all the Hebrew Israelites vote Trump 2028. Believe me. Look at that crowd. They won't show. The Hebrew Israelites. They won't show. He dropped his phone, and that's okay.
We want the museums to treat our country fairly. We want the museums to talk about the history of our country in a fair manner, not in a woke manner or in a racist manner, which is what many of them, not all of them, but many of them are doing. Our museums have an obligation to represent what happened in our country over the years, good and bad, but what happened over the years in an accurate way. We want the museums to treat our country.
All right, shalom. All praises to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, which is to say in the Paleo Hebrew, Yahweh, which is the name of our Heavenly Father, meaning He is, and that is who the world ignorantly calls God. Bahashem, which means in the name, Yahweh Shai, which means He is our salvation. That is who the world also ignorantly calls Jesus, a so-called black man, who, by the way, only came for the Israelites, all right? Now, what we saw was a clip of a impersonator of Donald J. Trump meeting the Hebrew Israelites, all right? And in doing so, that impersonator received the judgment of an Edomite, which we believe Trump to be for the most part, okay? Now, he could be of another nation, but due to his actions and prophetic prophecies, we believe him to be an Edomite, all right? And in doing so, he's going to receive the judgment of an Edomite. And not just the Edomite, but all other nations. Because why? Outside of Israel, Yasharallah, the true Israelites, all nations will go into slavery, all right? And he heard it, albeit through what? Satire or parody. And in the second clip is him now wanting certain artifacts or history of this country to be, in his words, quote unquote, accurate, although good and bad, okay? referring to what? Slavery, all right? Because this truth is eating these other nations up, okay? Christianity, so-called Christianity, just isn't cutting it anymore. This truth, everywhere they look, there's an Israelite on the corner preaching and prophesying. There's videos going up condemning this place, condemning the people. And it's all according to prophecy and out of the Holy Bible. And they can't do anything about it. Which is now why they're trying to set provisions. And by provisions, I mean him, Donald J. Trump, and his lawyers, his team of lawyers, is trying to omit certain aspects of museums, particularly those that house slavery artifacts, okay? See, it's just so, what's the word I'm looking for? It's just so convenient for them to want to put that woke or racist part of history behind them. But then when you bring up things like 9/11, we're supposed to have a memorial for that day, all right? But when we bring up slavery, no, that was way back in our bad part of the nation. We don't want to look at that no more, all right? And in doing so, he wants the museums to, although show the bad part, but just be careful how you portray it as potentially being considered woke, all right? No. See, you can't run from prophecy, all right? And we're going to get that, okay? Matter of fact, let's jump there and then we'll jump back to Acts 17. This is Revelation 13. And this is what these devils is running from. Supposed to know this. Supposed to know this precept. This is one of the quintessential precepts that is supposed to be known. This is Revelation 13:9. It reads, if any man have an ear, let him hear. So listen up. He that leadeth into captivity. How did the so-called blacks get over here to this part of the world? By the way of what? Slave ships, or what they would call slave cargo ships. It says, he that leadeth into captivity shall what? Shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. Okay? So this is what the patience of the saints are waiting for. All right? So you gonna have artifacts reflecting back on how this country was built up, because why? It was built up on the back of slaves. So now all of a sudden you want to what? Put it to the side, put it in the closet, put it in the dark shadows over there. Only put so much out. Don't put the chains and shackles that's spoken of in Deuteronomy 28, on display for the world to see. Because what are you being ashamed of? Okay? What are you ashamed of? That's how you got in power. Stand bold, stand proud on your history. All right? And understand that there comes prophecy behind that history. Like you took us into captivity, we're going to take you into captivity. Like you killed us with the sword, we're going to kill you with the sword. Thus saith the Lord. Here is the patience of the saints. This is what those of us that are in the spirit are waiting for. We're waiting on our Lord Yahushua to crack those clouds and to take you Edomites along with the rest of the heathens into slavery by all means necessary. And if you refuse to go into slavery, you're going to be killed with the sword. It's just that simple. It doesn't get any more basic than that. Let's go there. Luke 19:27. This is Luke 19:27. This is the red letters, so you know this is Yahushua speaking. But those my enemies, which would not that I should reign over them. So those are going to be the ones that don't want to go into slavery, that don't want this rulership under this Edomite to end. They're going to fight tooth and nails. Guess what? Revelation 13:10 is going to come into place. They're going to be killed with the sword, as it's going to say right here. Those that are my enemies, which would not that I should reign over them, bring hither. So bring them here. And do what? Enslave them before me. See? So guess what? It's going to be resistance. And that's what we want. We want resistance, because how much fun is it going to be if you just comply with everything? No, we want to test out our powers, man. All right? We want to test out these new bodies that we're going to get when we come out of the chariots. All right? So we want a little bit of fun. You to resist. You don't want to go into shackles. You don't want to go into slavery. So then we'll be very justified in the next course of action, which was to be what? Slay you in front of the eyes of Yahushua. All right? And he's given us the order to do so. Okay? So yes, although the first clip was an impersonator of Donald J. Trump, you can see how the truth still got back to him, because now the second clip was of him, the real Donald J. Trump, trying to get a lid or put a lid on this whole slavery thing. Okay? Showing you that this truth is turning the world upside down, man. Okay? And in doing so, it's putting it right back side up on his feet. All right? This is the power of Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahweh Shah. He's turning the world right side up, showing who the true Israelites are, showing who are going to rule next and who's going to be the slaves in the kingdom of heaven here on earth. All right? So now let's jump back to Acts 17, and let's read up a little bit, verse 5, because although this is talking about the Jews, it can be applied today, all right? And that the sense that this truth, this true gospel, has turned the world upside down, even reaching to the upper atmosphere and where the elites sit to watch, okay? Because you can guarantee Trump got that message from the elites that's been watching the videos, that's been watching the prophecies, that's been watching them getting condemned, okay? And now they getting ready to come down with great wrath. So this is Acts 17:5. It reads, but the Jews which believe not move with envy, took unto them certain lewd fellows of the baser sort, and gathered a company and set all the city on an uproar, and assaulted the house of Jason, and sought to bring them out to the people. So guess what? The same way this truth caused the uproar then, it's causing an uproar now, all right? And not just among our people, but all the other nations as well, all right? Because why? We're reading them their judgments as well, okay? And these Edomites is getting read judgments left to right, all right? And it's hurting them, man. So now what are they trying to do? Put a lid on it. To eventually, they're just going to have to shut down the internet. And the only way you're going to be able to get access to it is by the way of some type of, we know, RFID microchip digital ID, okay? This truth is turning the world upside down. In essence, it's putting it right side back up, all right? As we're going to read in verse 6, it says, and when they found them not, they drew Jason and certain brethren unto the rulers of the city, crying, let's hear what they said. These that have turned the world upside down are come hither also. See? So they're going to take certain one of us, all right? They're going to snatch certain one of us up. Because why? We're preaching the truth. All we're doing is preaching the truth out of the Bible. Thus saith the Lord, okay? But in doing so, we become an enemy of the state or enemy of this world, all right? And guess what? We're okay with that. Because why? We'd rather be a friend of Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahweh Shai than an enemy of Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahweh Shai. Because we know if we are enemy of Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahweh Shai, then what? We are a friend of the world. But if we are a friend of Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahweh Shai, then we're what? An enemy of the world. So we much rather be an enemy of the world than an enemy of Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahweh Shai. So guess what? In doing so, they're going to seek to unalive certain brothers of us, snatch certain brothers of us up, and take us to be what? put on trial and to be persecuted in front of a live audience for a what? A sign of what? Rebellion, okay? Because they're going to look at us as being part of a rebellious movement, all right, of treason. And in doing so, hey, I don't know if it's going to be globally, worldwide, just here in the States, maybe only in certain towns, but there's going to be death penalties for that. Revelation 20:4, okay? So the truth is turning this world upside down, and all we're doing is coming out of the word. But see, in doing so, it's what? It's cutting them to the asunder. It's cutting them to the bone, all right? It started off with a satire, all right? Trump meet the Israelites. Now, the real Trump has sought to take away certain parts of certain museums. The Smithsonian being one. That's a major museum. Okay? The truth is essentially affecting everyone, whether good or bad. Okay? You just pray that it's affecting you in a good way. All right? And that you can continue to endure. Let's go there to Galatians 4:16. It reads, am I therefore become your enemy? Because I tell you the truth. All we doing is telling the truth. We giving it to you raw and uncut, unadulterated. See, we ain't dressing it up. We coming out of thus saith the Lord, thus saith Yahweh. All right? Whether you like it or not, man. So either you got one or two things. Shut off the internet or take us into custody. We know you're going to look to do both. We know you're going to look to kill the prophets, man. All right? And we okay with that because why? We understand prophecy. We understand that certain brothers of us are going to have to be what? Martyrs for the truth. There's no more greater honor than dying for Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai. All right? So time is coming, man. They watching. All right? Make no mistake about it. They're watching. All right? And if they're not, they're getting the word that this word is turning the world upside down and in essence putting it right side back up. So they have to move with a sense of urgency because why? The more time they allow this truth to come out, the more time our people will wake up and the more possibility of the elect being sealed, which they can't stop even if they wanted to, all right? They can't stop this, all right? They just playing their role. Let's go to Hebrews 4:12 because it's cutting them. They can't do anything about it. This is Hebrews 4:12. It reads, the word of the Most High is quick and powerful and sharper than any two-edged sword. So this truth is sharper than any two-edged sword. That's why we ain't worried about being cardinal. It says, piercing even to the dividing asunder of soul and spirit. So the little bit of soul and spirit that the Edomites have, that they do have, we cutting that shit up into pieces. We shredding it, man, with the truth. We giving them their judgment in their own kingdom. We telling them that they going into slavery. The brother read it in Isaiah 14:2. He was reading it to the impersonator of Trump, but the real Trump got it though. That's how cold his word is, man. The Lord sent an impersonator as Donald J. Trump, but he received the judgment as if he was the real Donald J. Trump. And the real Donald J. Trump more than likely got the message. And now he wants to put away or do away with certain museums that's housing slavery artifacts that could be perceived, in his words, woke. Okay, you can't stop this truth. As it says, you can do nothing for the truth but for the truth. All right? So in your attempt to put away what you would deem quote unquote wokeness, you're just giving all the more validity to that this word is cutting you. And not just you, because we know you just a talking figure, but the elites that's behind you, that's backing you. That's who is cutting to the asunder. See, this word goes deep. It don't just stop at the surface. No, it cuts deep. We talking to the elites, okay? Y'all asses going to the slavery. Y'all gonna be the first. Y'all gonna be preserved to be the first ones that go into hardcore bondage slavery. You ain't never did a lick of physical work in your life. Well, guess what? Get ready. Your Rothschilds, your Oppenheimers, the ones that don't even have names that they are willing to show to the public. You ones that's hiding behind the camera, that's going to hide in the bunkers pursuing to Revelation 6 and pray that the rocks fall on you. Now, you going to be preserved to go into continual employment, slavery. You, whoever your name is, that hear this voice, you Edomite, you so-called white man, all right? You descendant of Esau. The other nations, they going into slavery, but you can't run. You know who we talking to. You know who I'm talking to. Whatever slave master you was, whatever Edomite you was in the past, you going into slavery, and the Lord going to preserve you to give you the first batch into Yahushua, because he's going to be the first slave master. He going to put you to work, and then he going to allow us to have slaves. All right? That's part of the heir to Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushua, is that we going to have slaves too. All right? So we going to have a lot of work for you and your family to do. All right? And we going to separate you from your children so you can feel the complete agony we felt when you did it to us. You're going to have your wife. Why'd you let them take our... Hey, ain't nothing you can do, okay? We're going to put your children out there in the fields as soon as they can walk. They want to have them already ready for work. Because you at least is going to be the ones that bring back the Edomites that perish here on this side in Babylon the Great, along with the other nations, okay? The ones that make it out of here, those elites of the other nations, they're going to bring back their seed that passed here in Babylon the Great when they get into the kingdom. Because all nations is going into slavery, all right? Nothing you can do about it. Thus saith the Lord. It says, piercing even to the dividing asunder of soul and spirit, and of the joints and marrow. Man, we doing a number on these damn Edomites, man. They can't even crawl right now. We done, the word done severed their wrists, their hands, their knees. They just got to sit in a fetal position and get read their judgments, okay? Until they feel bold enough to make that move, which they doing. They getting ready to. And then the next set of prophecy is going to be ready to jump in. You can't escape. You can't run from this prophecy. You can't run from the prophecies. You going into slavery. It says, and of the joints and marrow, and is a discerner of the thoughts and intents of the heart. See, we know exactly that you're the wicked, because why? You want to remove your history that you were so proud of to preserve these artifacts. How do you think they made it to the museum? Because of your proudness. Oh yeah, I had this slavery and these chains right here. I'm gonna keep these for a souvenir. See, it's through your proudness that you have what? Told on yourself. Let's go there. This is Psalms. Is it 64? In verse 8. This is Psalm 64 and 8. It reads, so they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. See, by your arrogance and proudness, you told on your own self. You preserve those artifacts. That's how we know. But ultimately it was Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai to give us evidence and proof that, hey, we were led in captivity with irons of slavery, with irons of shekel. Okay, roughly paraphrasing, but it's in Deuteronomy 28. Put a yoke around their neck. Let's see if I can type in that word yoke. Come on now. This is Deuteronomy 28 and 48. It reads, therefore shalt thou serve thy enemies, which Yahweh shall send against thee, in hunger, and in thirst, and in nakedness, and in want of all things. And he, the enemy, the Edomites, shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck. See? And you thought to keep that as a souvenir, and now it's housed in your museums. And now, through this guy Trump, he wants to do away with certain artifacts and get a team of lawyers to do so, to what? Focus more on the good parts of America and not so much the bad parts, the woke parts, which he deems as racist. But it's how y'all came into power. And we're reading it right here. It says, and he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee. See, this is how you came into power, through slavery. We started off in Revelation 13 and 10. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Why are you running away from prophecy? Embrace it. Enjoy your last few days of ruling, because it's coming to an end, okay? It really is, all right? And it's a beautiful thing to behold it, all right? Better is the end of a thing than the beginning, okay? And we in the end of this man's rulership, all right? And it's so much sweet to see it and see how he's fumbling to try to get a control of the narrative that he once had control over, but now through the power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, he no longer has control over the narrative. So he has to make that move because he knows he has but a short time. Revelation 12 and 12, you see? So back to Psalms 64 and 8. It reads, so shall they make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away. So you see, their own tongues is telling on them. Their museums, their artifacts. All right? It's no wonder you want to hide this part of history, okay? But you can't, because as it says, the cat is out of the bag. All right? We know who you are. And more important, we know who we are. All right? And there's nothing you can do at this point. All right? That time is long gone. You have to move to your next stage or phase. All out war, martial law, Jacob's trouble. See? And guess what? There's going to be an answer to that. The Bible covers everything, man. We're going to have Michael the Archangel stepping in and intervening for us alongside with Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. So you can't win, devil. Just make your move already. All right? Shut your internet down. Shut the whatever you're going to do to bring forth chaos, crash the economy, whatever, however you got it in your mind that you think you're going to do it, but it's actually Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai that's putting the thought in your mind. Just do it. Why don't you already? Okay? Shut it in, man. Bring forth the chaos. We know you're going to bring something to expedite the process speedily so you can get everybody chipped before Yahweh Shai returns, okay? We already know this, all right? Because why? We're keen to prophecy. See? We're keen, and we understand there's nothing you can do about it, all right? Nothing, okay? You can do nothing for the truth, but you can do nothing against the truth, but for the truth, all right? So we just sitting, as it says, here is the patience of the saints. We're just patiently waiting, okay? Patiently waiting, all right? Because once we get into rulership, we going to work your ass, all right? We going to put it to you. Trust and believe. All this time we got to be patiently waiting, we can't wait. And when the Lord gives us the go-ahead, hey, it's going to be on and popping for them 1,000 years. Trust. For those 1,000 years we're going to have you in slavery, you're going to have continual employment. Okay? With only the Sabbath, the 7th day of rest. And even then, we're going to be meditating on how to get your ass back ready for work the next day. You ain't even going to have rest because why? You're going to be constantly worried in your mind. Your body physically may have rest, but your mind is going to continually be running, man. We're going to work you, all right? We're going to be a terror to you, okay? As it says in Job, what is that, 18th or the 14th chapter? The king of terror, man. We're going to be a terror to you, all right? It's been a while since I read that. This is Job 18 and 14. It reads, his confidence shall be rooted out of his tabernacles, and it shall bring him to the king of terrors. So ain't going to be no rest, all right? Even on the Sabbath, your physical body may rest, but your mental faculties are going to be continuously terrified and terrified and terrified because we're going to rain terror on you, all right? So I can see why you would want to try to hide some of this history, okay? I can see why, but that should have never been out of the bag in the first place. But see, it's through your proudness that your own tongue told on you. Your museums, they told on you. And they don't even tell the whole story, to be honest with you, because they got artifacts that they don't let the public see because they want to keep certain things in closed doors, all right? Those elites, all right? Because more than likely, they got the garments that they crucified Yahushua in. As it says, they cast lots. All right? So the elites, they probably got the garments that Yahushua was crucified in. You know, the thorn of the crown of thorns. All right? The nails. They probably got them in collections of their own selves, to their own selves, you know? Whoever they was back then that passed it down from generation to generation. All right, they keep certain things that they don't let privy to the public. Only certain, and some of the things that they put out there is duplicates. It's not the real, authentic artifact. It's just a duplicate of that. All right. So guess what? Your time is coming. All right, where you're gonna go into slavery, as the brother read in Isaiah 14 and 2. We're gonna take you and possess you for handmaids and hand servants. All right. So yeah, this truth has turned the world upside down. Okay, let's finish up and close out in 1 Peter 5 and 8. This is 1 Peter chapter 5 and verse 8. It reads, be sober, be vigilant. Why? Because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour. See, he wants to rock you back to sleep. Do away with certain parts of prominent museums like the Smithsonian to their wokeness or their slavery or their racist agenda. No, man, you can't rock us back to sleep. We are wide awoke or wide awake. Revelation 13:11. All right, we're not sleeping. We're wide awake because we know our salvation is nearer than we believe. Okay, Yahushua is on his way. All right, so whatever you do or whatever you believe you're going to do, it's not going to be enough to rock the foundation of the elect. And that's all it's about at the end of the day. So we give warning to do what? Continue to be sober and vigilant, because if not, your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, and he's seeking to rock you to sleep. It says, seeking whom he may devour. Right, if you sleep, you easy prey, man. There's no resistance. By the time he pounced on you and clamped down on your jugular, you ain't waking up. All right, you're gonna meet a more harsh judgment than if you was awake. All right, because now, boom, a lion catch a prey off guard. You think he taps him on the ass and say, "Wake up! I want you to run so I can chase you." No, he catch you sleeping. He pounces you on, so you in the middle of your sleep. You a gazelle, you thinking about grazing on grass in your sleep. I don't know if animals dream when they sleep, but let's just say they do hypothetically. And all of a sudden, the lights get cut off, man. All right, and you got just enough energy to open your eye and see another eye looking dead at you with a big ass canine tooth clamped down on you, and you suffocate, man. Because why? You weren't sober. You weren't vigilant. All right, and we telling you, stay awake. All right, now is not the time to fall back to sleep. We too close to the end. Just did a lesson today in the live preaching. All right, don't fall off. We're too close to the end. The end is close. Don't fall off. If you fall off and go back to sleep, well, you know how the saying goes. Okay, late, you're gonna be late. All right, for your own funeral. All right, Jake gonna fall asleep, but he ain't gonna be late because why? This damn devouring roaring lion, he gonna devour you, and he gonna make sure you meet your fate. All right, so you been warned. Be sober, be vigilant. All right, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour. All right, so with that being said, pray someone was edified through this lesson, and until the next time, if it be the Lord's will, stay strong, stay in the faith. We almost home. Shalom. Peace.